It's Madden NFL 22, and tonight's clash of conferences is just moments away. It's the Chiefs and the Cards, and it's coming up next.
EA Sports coverage of the NFL takes us to the Valley of the Sun at State Farm Stadium here in Glendale. So this was the scene a moment ago. The Cardinals emerging from their tunnel, and we are ready for football as the Cards get set to match up with the Kansas City Chiefs. Brandon Gaudin alongside the one and only Charles Davis. And CD, lots of compelling storylines in a game like this. Let's take a look at some of the numbers for these two offenses.
And I'm glad you brought up the numbers because sometimes it's hard to quantify a team's performance solely by judging the numbers. But I think with these two teams, what you see is a pretty accurate representation of who they are.
Now the big leg of Matt Prater ready to get this one started. And this one is underway here on EA Sports. And no run back on the opening kickoff. It'll come out to the 25. The KC offense set to go, led as always by the gunslinger, a former MVP in this league. It's Patrick Mahomes.
And simply put, for many, he's the gold standard for quarterbacks in today's NFL because of his ability to create, find the open man, use all the different arm angles that he has. He's a complete package, and boy, his team loves to play around him.
Mahomes now on first down. They'll find Juju Smith-Schuster. And from the 25, they work this to the 29, a gain of 4.
One thing we do know, he's going to get his catches. So as they move forward defensively, got to continue to focus on not giving up the big play when he does catch the ball in the secondary.
2nd and 6, just inside the 30. They go play action. Now Mahomes. Looking for Kelsey on the deep ball. Got a man, it's caught inside the 10. And all the way in for a Kansas City touchdown. Travis Kelsey, 71 yards. And the Chiefs on just 2 plays have taken the lead. Harrison Butker is on for the extra point. And his kick is good to make it 7-0 KC. That drive started on their own 25. 2 plays, 75 yards later, into the end zone. Now after the touchdown, here's Butker on to kick it away. This fielded right at the goal line. And he brings us out past the 20 to the 24. The Cardinals now getting set to go offensively, and it'll be the dual threat quarterback Kyler Murray leading the way.
And I'll bet he's talking to his guys about resisting the temptation to try and turn this into an up and down game. Almost like basketball, where both teams press and one team gets an advantage, our team's trying to run with them, and they're just not equipped for it. Doesn't matter whether you're equipped or not, just settle in Get calm before you go for the big strikes.
Murray and the Cardinals with a 1st and 10 at their own 24. First carry for James Conner. Nowhere to go that time. Might have gotten a yard up to the 25.
No doubt about it. A really nice job there by the defense, not allowing him to get to the perimeter. But that means your defensive ends, your outside linebackers, the guys that you pay big money to sack the quarterback, they also have to have interest in the running game as well. And they did a nice job there of holding the point of attack and not giving ground.
Still 9 remaining on 2nd down.
Switch up, switch up. 54's Mike, 54's Mike. Check, check.
And Murray, he's going to run with it himself. He'll wind up getting 3 on the keeper there, but it leads to a 3rd down.
Anytime you decide to use your quarterback as a runner, most of the time when you design a play, you're expected to break a little bit bigger than this one, because when you run him on short gains, your risk-reward and him taking hits, I'm not sure that's the payoff they were looking for.
A couple of extra defensive backs in the ball game here on 3rd and 6. Throwing now is Murray. Catch is made by Marquise Brown. And he is going to have a Cardinals 1st down as he's able to get 8 yards there on 3rd and 5. Now, Charles, what's the mindset here offensively? You gave up the touchdown pretty quickly. Would it have changed if you had gotten a stop and it would be 0-0 right now, or no?
I wouldn't think so. I think in most cases, just down a touchdown, you know, I mean, we're just getting started here. It should be a long way to go. You think to yourself, stick with the game plan, all the things you worked on in practice. But you have some teams that when they get down, their natural tendency is to aggressively strike back. And let's see if they want to get outside of the game plan we expect and try and be aggressive on their first series.
And he'll be taken down, but not before he works it past the 50.
Now, that was a fun one to watch right there. A nice in-breaking route and plenty of room in the middle of the field. And he was able to get behind the linebackers and grab the completion for a really good pickup.
So now 1st and 10 in Chiefs territory at the 47. Here's Murray. This will be caught by Brown. And he'll go down, but not before getting this inside the 30.
Let's go!
Well, I know from past experience, before you actually play a game, you visualize what's going to happen. And I don't know anyone who doesn't visualize themselves being in the center of what's going on. That's 3 catches for him here in the early going. He's got to like the way this is starting.
Absolutely. 3 catches on any drive is good. Opening drive, that's a tone setter. On 1st and 10 is Conner. And shedding through the tackle. And taking it to the 15-yard line before he's brought down. Quite the opening drive march they're on right now.
It looks a lot like what we saw in practice prior to the game, doesn't it? You know, because on that last big practice beforehand, you go through your offensive script. You go through your play calling. You go through all the stuff and establish things. And it looks like it's going like clockwork right now for them.
Line of scrimmage, the 15. It's 1st and 10. From the red zone, here's the Heisman Trophy winner, Murray. This is caught. Touchdown! James Conner, a 15-yard touchdown grab. And the Cardinals are just an extra point away from tying this game. CD, it seemed like they were so focused on the guys out wide, they forgot about him out of the backfield.
That's a really good point, because you've got to communicate, and oftentimes when you start counting receivers, that's exactly what you do. You start from the widest receiver, work your way inside. Who gets lost sometimes? The back in the backfield. That's exactly what happened there.
And he got into the end zone. Extra point good by Prater. And that will tie our score here in this opening quarter of play.
1
Each team's had it. Each team has scored. 7-7 here as the kick's away. This taken in at the goal line. And he won't quite make it to the 25.
Come on, baby, let's go. Get excited. Let's go. Let's go.
Kansas City taking the field for their second drive. And for them, a touchdown their last go-around. Obviously, they'll be hoping to do that again.
And when you start plotting for this drive, when you start thinking to yourself, okay, what are we going to do? You don't go away from what you did before because that worked, but you have to be prepared for wrinkles and counters because you know they'll make some adjustments.
Mahomes will lead the Chiefs up 1st and 10 at their own 24. He'll be brought down on the 30-yard line after a gain of 6.
They'd love to just strike back with a touchdown right here. And if it's a long play, so be it. But the main goal, get a couple of first downs, run some plays, run some clock, allow their defense to get a chance to catch their breath, settle down, and relax a little bit after they just gave up a score.
2nd and 4. To throw, it's Mahomes. Complete, the tight end, Kelsey. And he'll be taken down, but not before they work it across midfield.
Let's go, boys. Bring it on.
Someone sharp in this game. I mean, a touchdown pass on the first drive and comes right back, and he's flinging it around really well here.
Really nice throw there to pick up the first down. You kind of just feel a laser focus and confidence about him, and I think we saw that this week, didn't we? Talking to him and the coaches, they felt good about his performance coming up.
Yeah, I was really impressed with that last practice we saw when they went through 2-minute drill, when they went through all the different situations. Ball hardly hit the ground, and I thought, yeah, he might be locked in for this one.
Mahomes' throw taken in by Valdez-Scantling. And past the 35, he'll be dropped a yard or two shy of the 30. Had the offense humming on the first drive. Not much has changed here on drive number 2.
No, and I think a lot of the times confidence just really kicks in for a team. They may have been confident going into the game, but once you prove it on a drive, it's hard to get out of that mindset, isn't it? And look, let's face it, we can always lock in on the skill position, guys. But those big fellas up front, they're really making this offense go early in the game.
Line of scrimmage, the 31 now on 1st and 10. Now a carry for Edwards-Helaire. And this will leave him a yard short. Nice pickup of 9 yards on 1st down. If these kinds of lanes are available, you have to feel like he's going to have a pretty big game on the ground.
Yeah, you can tell early on he's got a little burst in his step, and that's a big pickup right there on 1st down.
They'll come up now on 2nd and a yard. Edwards-Helaire as they run out of the gun. And he's able to get it to the edge of the red zone at the 20-yard line.
2nd and 1, and people want to run the football. This is where every back in the league is supposed to do exactly what we just saw there. Pick up the 1st down.
Clock rolling as we hit the midway point of this first quarter. Operating from the red zone now, Mahomes. And this will be incomplete. Physical play on the football there, and it's 2nd down.
As this old brain remembers, when I see 5 wide receivers on the field as a defender, I know the ball's coming out hot. They expected it and got there and popped it free.
2nd and 10. Shotgun snap to Mahomes. He's going to find his tight end, Gray, complete. And he'll be out of bounds, taking it just shy of the 10 at the 11 or the 12. That'll leave them with a 3rd and 2 coming up. They got 8 yards there.
Let's not quibble about the gain there on 2nd down. That was a positive play because that was a take-what-you-can-get situation. Got out to the tight end. Now it gives them a much better opportunity to convert on 3rd down.
Trying to keep the drive going here. This is play number 7 on 3rd and 2. Edwards-Helaire, they'll try to run for it. On Edwards-Helaire, I don't think he got there. He did not. They'll stop him short. A loss of a yard, and it brings up 4th. That's about as good as a linebacker can diagnose that play, isn't it?
It certainly is, and what he did really well is that while he was diagnosing, he got his feet in motion without actually going anywhere and taking a false step that he had to make up later. He read it, got his feet in motion, and then he just took off and made the play.
So on 4th down, Mahomes off, Harrison Butker on for the Chiefs field goal. Butker's kick here is good. And they take the lead here now at 10-7. So no problems at all on that one. And you know, there's virtually no wind. This is a kicker's dream here tonight.
It absolutely is, isn't it? So to me, with no wind, it should be a passer's dream as well, right? In this case, the defense held out. They had to force the field goal.
After the field goal, here's Butker to kick it away. Fielded just outside the goal line. And he'll take it a yard or so past the 20, call it the 21. So the Cardinals offense back onto the field here for their second drive of the game. And that last drive, a long drive, but not just that, they had a great air attack going. Do they stick with that?
I would think that they would, because if they were confident enough to do it on the last drive, starting backed up in their own territory, why would you change anything? They've got to be confident about what they're presenting and continue to do so.
Yeah, because the secondary, they really looked clueless.
And that was amazing because that drive went and went, no adjustments and no big plays by the defense to knock the ball away.
Throwing on 1st down is Murray. Eluding the pressure right. Give him a couple on the scramble. It's 2nd down.
They brought the blitz that time, and I thought they were going to get to him, but instead, he flipped it on its ear and ended up picking up positive yardage.
I thought he was dead to rights, but you are exactly correct, sir. Able to turn that into a positive gain. Ball at the 23, 2nd and 8. Murray a give. This is Connor. There's a nice move. It's a gain of 6, moves him to a manageable 3rd and 2 situation.
A quick burst there, and he nicely bit off a pretty decent gain.
Now on 3rd down, an extra DB out there for the Chiefs. Here's Connor on the read option, and he gets it to the 34. Good enough for the first.
And we tend to give those running backs that are slashers a lot of credit, but how about guys who are maulers? Because that's what you want in short yardage situations, and we just saw that occur right there, didn't we?
Vertical, downhill running. From the 34 now, here's 1st and 10. Murray going to throw. And this is caught. It's Brown. And he slips up past the 45 before being tackled.
Now that was pretty. They executed that curl route versus zone coverage, and that changes things a little bit because against man, it's often a tight curl, a sharply run route. Against zone, you're just looking for that open spot, that dead area, so you may curl it a little bit wider just to get to that place.
And usually a tight window. He fired a bullet in there for the completion.
Meanwhile, Murray's throw pulled in by Hopkins.
And taking it across midfield and just shy of the 40. Another 13 yards there twice in a row, and they're on the move. Another 1st down as well.
Well, I think when they look at their offense, they think to themselves, weapons, weapons everywhere, and they want to move the ball around. They want to spread it to different people, but you absolutely know they want to get this man involved as well, and that's what they just did on that play.
So now 1st and 10 in Chiefs territory at the 41. Now Murray. This one grabbed by A.J. Green. And he's taken down inside the 30. Another 13 yards there twice in a row, and they're on the move. Another 1st down as well.
That was a nicely run slant route, and what the receiver's trying to do is make the defender think he's going upfield for a deeper route and then breaks it off, usually after about 3 to 4 steps, and cuts towards the middle of the field. And now what he's trying to do is use his body to keep the defender away from the football and give the quarterback a really nice target.
And he's going to go down here, a sack. They push him back to the 34. He couldn't get rid of it. He takes a sack for a loss of 6 to bring up second down.
Well, I think that time he just maybe held on to it a little too long, CD, because after a couple of seconds in this league, you know those defenders are coming.
And how many times do we talk about complementary football? We're usually talking about, does the offense help the defense? Does the defense help the offense? I think in this case, does the quarterback help out his offensive line? You only have a certain amount of time to get rid of the football. They can only do so much. On this play, he took him to the limits.
Murray's throw here complete into the hands of Ertz. And he'll be brought down with a first down as the tackle's made at the Chiefs' 18.
He's certainly done a nice job spreading the field on this drive, and here he finds his big tight end for good yardage. And that's what you have to do. Keep defenses guessing about where you're going to go with the football.
So from inside the 20, here's 1st and 10 at the 18. Now a handoff coming left, Connor. And he'll get this one down to about the 17. Rashad Fenton, the one to bring him down.
I do know from experience that when you slow down someone's running game, you're now doing the dictating on defense. And guess what? Now you're getting ready to tee off on their quarterback because they have to throw it all the time. But you still have to be alert for the draws and other plays of that nature to make sure you don't get hurt.
Connor going to get it again on second down. Able to fight for about 4 yards there to the 13.
Typically, we think it's the strong safeties that are better tacklers, especially closer to the line of scrimmage amidst traffic. But in this case, how about the free safety coming up and making the big-time play?
Here's Murray. Screen pass to Connor. And he'll be taken down at the 2-yard line.
Let's go! Make it happen!
(10-7) our score after 1 right here on EA Sports. Back in Arizona, second quarter action. It's the Cardinals in possession as they go to work on a 1st and goal. Shotgun now from Murray. And he is going to go down. Back at the 11-yard line. Frank Clark fighting his way home to get the sack.
Well, if you're going to throw the ball on 1st and goal from the 2, the worst thing that should result is an incompletion for you offensively. But, Brandon, this is a different type of football. Back in my day, 1st and goal from the 2, a lot of big people with big neck rolls, they were on the field trying to ram it into the end zone.
They'll try again on 2nd and goal after going backwards to the 12. Here's a handoff to Connor. And here he'll get it down to the 7. They get 5 on the run, but it leaves them with a tough 3rd and goal forthcoming.
Partner, I know we're in a goal-to-go situation, but my goodness, think about running the ball here. Not even a thought, is it?
Defensively, they're in a prime spot.
And I think the defensive guys are probably expressing themselves to them as well. I wouldn't run it here, guys. You might want to try throwing it.
Buying time to his left. And he works his way past the line of scrimmage and then slides to a halt. The decision to tuck and run gets him 3, but that's not enough. Now it's 4th.
Well, partner, nothing comes open here, so he decides to escape out of there, and he doesn't pick up a 1st down, but he does gain additional yardage to set up a possible field goal attempt if they decide to go that route.
And Prater's kick is on the money. It's good.
So a long drive gets them down inside the 5, but ultimately they settle for just the field goal.
I have to think that if maybe they were a yard closer, that would have made their decision tougher, and I think they likely would have gone for it. But in this situation, they just decided to take the 3, and I think it was a smart move.
All level now at 10 apiece as the kick's away.
And here comes a return from just beyond the goal line. And he'll be brought down shy of the 20, so the decision to bring it out of the end zone, not a good one.
And now here comes Kansas City. And last time they got 3 points, but it was a chip shot field goal. And when you go to the sideline after a chip shot field goal, maybe the offense not too happy.
It's a balancing act, isn't it? Because you're exactly right. They're none too pleased that they didn't punch it in for 6 points. But they also have to remember they did put points on the board.
3 points is 3 points.
And in this league, you take points when you can get them. Not easily done.
Mahomes will lead the Chiefs up 1st and 10 at their own 18. They'll try and start this drive in the air. This one complete to Mecole Hardman. And he's taken down, but not before he gets this across the 25-yard line.
Good, strong throw and catch right there. And so far in this game, the alleys have been open for them to get completions, and they're taking advantage of it.
On 1st down, Mahomes.
This will be incomplete. Oh, a dream chance for a D lineman, but he couldn't pull that one in.
I think he's got to be careful not to force anything into coverage right there. There weren't really any throwing lanes, but the best part for him, he's got 2nd and 3rd down to fall back on.
Here's 2nd and 10. A shotgun snap and a give to Edwards-Helaire.
Able to shake free for about 7 up to the 35.
Well, this play sequence was really kind of called in reverse. Incomplete pass on 1st and 10. Nice run on 2nd and 10 when probably everyone was expecting him to throw the football. Now, if you're the defense, what are they going to do on 3rd down? You're a little off balance.
Mahomes looks to throw on 3rd down.
He's got his man. That's Hardman. And he will have a Chiefs 1st down by a couple of yards as they're able to convert here on 3rd and 3.
And that's one of those where it feels like backyard football in a sense. You say, forget about the route. Just run to the open spot in the middle of the field, and I'll find you. Good throw, good concentration on the catch, and they pick up the 1st down.
A couple of 1st downs have them to the 40 now on 1st and 10.
They'll run here with Edwards-Helaire.
And he'll work this forward for about 3 at 2nd down.
Not the kind of gain that we'll go absolutely crazy for, but it's the kind of gain that you need to have when you're running back in the NFL. And Clyde Edwards-Helaire, with that low center of gravity and strength, he's going to get those tough, gritty yards for you when necessary.
3 yards on that last carry. Here's 2nd and 7.
They'll run. It's Edwards-Helaire.
And taking it across midfield and inside the 45.
40 yards now on the ground on just 7 carries.
Well, if they continue to run the football this strong, right up the middle, I don't know if they can wait till halftime to make adjustments. They better find a way to get it done series to series. I don't know if they need to sub some guys out, bring in extra people, maybe change what they're doing on the defensive side of the ball. But right now, they're running the ball very well right at them and right up the middle.
So into Cardinal territory now. It's 1st and 10 at the 43. Looking to throw is Mahomes. That is incomplete.
They've given up a few 1st downs on this drive, but getting the incompletion there, that should give them something to build on and maybe turn the tide.
So after the incompletion on 1st, now 2nd and 10. Mahomes taps this forward. It's a jet sweep. And he'll lose yardage on the play back at the 45-yard line. This defense not fooled one bit on that touch pass.
And this has become one of those kind of in vogue plays, you know, kind of like the shuffle pass was a few years ago. This one never got off the ground, but you understand why a lot of teams are running it. These wide receivers, a lot of them, they run like running backs with the ball in their hands.
Ninth play of the drive coming up, and certainly not an easy one on 3rd and long. Working from the gun, Mahomes. Escaping the pressure right. And he'll protect himself at the end here as he winds up getting pretty decent yardage. Give him 8 yards that time on the scramble, and now 4th down.
Partner, he was going through his progressions. Not there. After about the 3rd one, he decided he better pull it down and run for it. And he slides down and avoids the hit for good measure.
And he has got it from 55 yards away. That was never in doubt. No problems in the field goal department so far. He's 2 for 2.
Pretty reliable here in this game, isn't he? And to me, that bodes well for them. If they need him late in the game, his confidence should be sky high.
After the field goal, here's Butker to kick it away. Fielded just outside the goal line. And not much happening on the return as he'll get this to about the 23. Arizona's offense back out and ready to go. Their drive last time, it stalled out. They were forced to take the short field goal.
And the key phrase, you nailed it. Forced to, because you know coaches look at these short field goals as a last resort, right? To them, that's not how drives are supposed to end. You're supposed to put 6 on the board. That's a consolation prize, like going to the county fair. You don't get the big stuffed animal on that one, do you?
No, you don't go top shelf. That's bottom shelf material. Murray and the Cardinals with a 1st and 10 at their own 23. He'll start the drive with a give to Connor. And not much there. Maybe a yard up to the 24.
But not much on that run, Charles.
No, that's exactly the way to execute a run blitz there. They guessed correctly that they would move the ball on the ground, honed in on it, and stopped them. Mark that down for a win in the defense's column.
Here's 2nd and 9, just a yard on that last run. To throw is Murray. And caught, right side, Green. He'll be brought down on the 30-yard line after a gain of 6.
I know many people like to throw to the tight end, maybe in a little flexed out position because he creates mismatches with his size. The slot receivers do the same thing with their quickness, their speed, and their route running savvy.
The Cardinals on 3rd down. They've been good, 3 for 4 thus far. Here it's 3rd and 3. Here's Murray as he sets to throw it. And he's got his man, Marquise Brown. Down the numbers. There he goes. Touchdown, Cardinals. Hollywood, Marquise Brown. 70 yards. And the Cardinals have retaken the lead.
And CD, we have seen some great runs the last few times we've been together, but I think we could at least put this one in our top 5. That was a determined gallop there.
Yeah, and this is one of the best runs you'll see. A lot of times on these long touchdowns, you'll say he gets into the end zone untouched, but not here. He fought his way through contact, and it barely even registered, and he just continued down the field all the way to the end zone.
And you can see the distance traveled there after the initial contact on the next-gen stats.
Prater for the extra point, and that will make this a 4-point game. After the touchdown, out is Prater to kick.
From a yard or two deep, here comes a return. And he'll be brought down shy of the 20, so the decision to bring it out of the end zone, not a good one. The KC offense and Clyde Edwards-Helaire getting the ball back here.
He's been good. They've utilized him well, but they're losing here in the second quarter. What might they change offensively?
I think that what you try and do is expand how you get the ball to him a little bit. Get him out in open space, maybe swing the ball to him. What's that they used to call it in the West Coast offense, the long handoff? Yeah. Serve as your running play that way, as well as continue to feed him the football. Some of these runs now may pop bigger later in the game because of the effects of running it. Sometimes people, after a while, they don't want to tackle him anymore, or they get tired, or they get out of position, or he runs through tackles. Continue to feed him the ball. He's having that kind of game.
Yeah, might they get him the ball in some space in some different ways here?
Not a big window to throw. Coverage wasn't too bad there.
Yeah, they had him under wraps pretty well, but somehow able to muscle his way open and catch the ball.
From the 25 on second down, Mahomes. He'll find his running back, Edwards-Helaire.
And he's able to get this one up to his 30 before he's out of bounds.
Was that a receiver? Yeah, actually it was. It was a running back who was a receiver on the play. Ike's been spending time in the receiver drills getting his feet down.
Well, those guys out of the backfield, they got to be good, agile with their feet. He showed the agility there with a toe tap.
No doubt about it. It's like he'd run to ballet school. Got the toes down and stayed in bounds.
Meanwhile, Mahomes' throw here complete to Kelsey. And he'll have a gain of 3 to the 33.
I'm wondering if the same thing went through your mind as mine. When I see a big man like that make a catch, all I keep thinking to myself is, big man with football. Look out, everyone. He may not juke you a whole lot, right? He may not run past you because of his size. You're talking about a guy weighing in the 270 range. But, boy, once he gets his mitts on the ball, he's going to be tough to bring down.
Completes it to Hardman. And they get him down, but not before he takes it across the 40-yard line.
To win any route, you've got to break down the defender, and that's exactly what happened here on this really nicely executed curl route.
A couple of first downs has the football positioned at the 43 as they come up 1st and 10. Play action. Now it's Mahomes. That ball is caught. Marquez Valdez-Scantling. And they'll get him down as he's inside the 40.
And another thing that makes the comeback route really effective is that oftentimes after you've made the initial move, receivers breaking away from the defensive back, and that makes it a really tough play to defend. And nice chunky yardage picked up there.
So into Cardinal territory now. It's 1st and 10 at the 38.
Here's Edwards-Helaire.
And he'll take this one down to the 36. 2 yards on the carry there. It'll be 2nd down.
Oh, that's a real nice job there by the defensive front. They just engaged and held their ground. But how about the guy who made the play? We often talk about whether they take a good first step or not. Many times you just don't take any step. Just get your feet moving, get your body going, and then once he made the read, he was able to make the play.
Mahomes firing complete, and he'll be upended at the 33 following a gain of 3. And guess what? It brings up 3rd down.
Play number 7 now coming up on the drive. 3rd and 5.
Now Mahomes. This pass going to be caught by Hardman. And he will have a Chiefs first down. He needed 5. He got it barely, as it will officially go down as a gain of 5 yards.
But give the defensive guys a little bit of credit. They didn't let the deep ball beat them on that play, did they?
No, the drag, that guy can be your safety valve. We saw it right there.
Yeah, and it picked up a first down for him, too.
Mahomes now on 1st down.
He's going to take a shot for the end zone. And that will be caught, but out of the end zone, says the field judge. It's ruled incomplete.
He certainly had a good game throwing the ball so far, but I think he was trying to take that from good to great with that throw, trying to get one downfield.
Now the red challenge flag makes an appearance as Andy Reid wants a second opinion. They're taking a peek at whether or not those feet were in bounds, and obviously a big call here in the end zone.
And not just the feet. How about the hands? How is the ball possessed while the feet are hopefully getting down in bounds? That's what they're trying to look at to see if it all comes together.
After review of the play, ruling on the field stands.
So not successful there on the challenge, and he'll have to be careful from here on out because he'll only have one challenge remaining.
So now 2nd and 10 after the incompletion on first down. Shotgun snap to Mahomes.
Now a swing pass. It's Edwards-Helaire.
They do get a couple, but they'll be left staring at a 3rd and 8 coming up.
And we see another pitch and catch there to the running back. This position just continues to evolve. They've become just as critical to the passing attack as a lot of receivers, tight ends, because their ability to make people miss in the open field can really generate big plays for an offense.
Throwing is Mahomes on 3rd. It's Kelsey on the ground. And he takes it down to the 10-yard line. And we've hit the 2-minute mark in this first half of action. Now it's Mahomes again.
Another pass into the reliable hands of Kelsey.
A gain of 7 that time. 2nd and goal.
Your trip is here, baby. Your trip is here.
Nice rhythm throw there on first down. He located his tight end, made it a nice easy pitch and catch.
Hoping he can break a tackle or two. Wasn't able to do that there, but still good yardage. So the ball position now at the 3. Here's 2nd and goal. Mahomes now to throw. Pass incomplete, but the flag in the backfield, and this might be a roughing call. I think you'd agree that looked like the right call from up here.
No doubt about it. What everyone has to understand is that the officials are going to be right on the play each and every time. You may not like the call, but they're usually spot on.
So a critical mistake, roughing the passer. Now it's 1st and goal. They'll try to run with Edwards-Helaire. And he'll actually lose a little bit of yardage here. Back to the 2. It's a loss of a yard there, and now 2nd down.
Well, I know a defensive coordinator is going to be pretty excited by what he just saw there. Great knockback by their front. And now with the ball where it is, I would expect to see the offense throw the ball on 2nd and 3rd down here.
Back at the 2 now. Here's 2nd and goal. Throwing now is Mahomes. In trouble, and he'll go down back at the 12. Now another timeout called for by the offense, as they'll stop it with just over a minute to go before halftime. They've been denied touchdowns in the red zone twice already. Here comes 3rd and goal. From the gun, it's Mahomes.
He'll drop that off to Edwards-Helaire. The Cardinals going to use the first of their timeouts as the clock will stop with 55 seconds to go until halftime. So on fourth down, Mahomes off, Harrison Butker on for the Chiefs field goal. From the left hash, should be a fairly easy one here. Butker's kick here is good, and that'll bring him back within a point. So he's been a busy man here in this first half. That's 3 field goals for him now.
And not just 3 field goals, but 3 for 3. So even though the offense has struggled a bit putting it in the end zone, they've still been able to come away with points due to his leg.
After the field goal, here's Butker to kick it away. And no effort to bring this one out. It's a touchback. Kyler Murray going to lead the Cardinals back out on offense. And really a solid group effort. I mean, the montage focuses on him, and rightfully so, but it's been a good job of a team to get this lead.
Oh, I'm with you totally on that. I love the observation. Offensive line and people having to protect him, they've really been in sync and been on point. How about the guys going out and catching the ball? Well, the receivers, the running backs, everyone is involved today. And what we're watching right now is really a beautiful team effort, isn't it?
Absolutely. Ready to go with their next drive, and at the line, the Cardinal offense. And with a little under a minute to go, still time to try to put a drive together to add to their lead should they so choose. And this will be swung out here for counter. And he takes us beyond the 35 before going out of bounds. And now with that completion, he's north of 200 yards here in the first half.
And he's going to break our statistician Marvin, isn't he? Because Marvin right now is just tallying it up. Hope his hand doesn't hurt too much doing this or keeps hitting the calculator. But my goodness, what a start he is off to. By the end of this game, he could have monster numbers. He just wants to continue to be accurate.
So from the 36 now, 1st and 10. From the gun, Murray. And he finds his tight end. It's Ertz. Now the Cards going to call another timeout, their second, as they'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the first half. Working with 2nd and 5 now. Here's Murray. He finds Hopkins complete. And a good quarterback facing zone coverage. If he has just a little bit of time to survey the scene, that's what's going to happen.
No doubt about it. If there's no pressure, he's going to continue to pick them apart because he'll have all that time to find someone open downfield. You can only cover for so long. So maybe they want to go to a zone blitz scheme, get a little bit more pressure. Remember when Carolina did that against Denver? They lost the game ultimately. They dropped the defensive end out, and he ended up with an interception in that game in Super Bowl 50. Maybe some sort of scheme like that to try and get more pressure at the passer.
Murray to air it out again. Thrown across his body, and it's intercepted. Picked off by Juan Thornhill. And the Chiefs are going to take over here up near the 40. He's certainly not been afraid to take some chances downfield. Now, look, it's paid off for him a couple of times. That time, not so fortunate.
And that's where I want to start, what you said. It's paid off a couple of times. So his aggressiveness has been good for his offense for the most part. So he throws an interception there. No one likes that. but I would not rein him back in. The return on investment thus far has been pretty good. 2 touchdowns to 1 interception.
The Chiefs offense about set to begin this drive. And with decent starting field position, there may be only a couple completions away from field goal range. Mahomes throw into the hands here of Hardman.
And offensively, they'll take the timeout with 6 seconds left in the second quarter. So even though it's first down, here's the field goal unit on now to try to get 3 before halftime. And this will be called officially a 66-yard attempt. And that's the risk of the long field goal miss here at this stage of the second quarter. You give up great field position.
And that gives them one more opportunity to make something happen and something big. And we've seen crazy stuff happen at the end of halves.
Here is Matt Prater now. He's got the leg for this as he holds the NFL record with a 64-yarder back in 2013. And this will be spotted on the other side of the field. It's a 61-yard attempt. So that would have been something from that distance, but to no avail. Comes up empty as we have reached the intermission. As now we send you out to Orlando and hook back up with Jonathan Coachman for our EA Sports Halftime Report.
Okay, right, Brandon. Thanks very much. And welcome in, everyone, to this slimmed-down version of the EA Sports Halftime Report. First, though, a check of the next-gen stats in that first half for Kansas City. And it's been the passing game that's been the story. They have feasted on this secondary to the tune of 200-plus yards already through 2 quarters. Meanwhile, for the Cardinals, they, too, were able to take advantage of a soft secondary, as both of these 2 teams really threw the ball at will in that first half.
Okay, Coach, thanks as always. This one's still anyone's game as we welcome you back for quarter number 3. The Cards with the lead, and they will get this football first as the second half gets started. From a couple yards deep, he'll bring it out of the end zone. And they'll get him down right at the 25-yard line, so the same result had he opted for the touchback. Now Kyler Murray ready to get back under center.
And he's had some time to chew on that interception he threw on his last drive back in the first half.
Well, normally we say, want to get him right back out on the field and play again, right? But as you mentioned, had the halftime, had to stew about it a little bit. Maybe he'll have a chance to relax a little and kind of laugh and chuckle and let it go.
He'll hope to respond positively here to start the third quarter.
Murray and the Cardinals with a 1st and 10 at their 25-yard line.
Throwing to start the drive. Murray.
Throw left side complete. That's McBride.
And he'll get this up past the 25 before he's out of bounds.
3 yards the gain there, second down.
Yeah, that one was covered pretty well because they were trying to leak the tight end out into the flat. I think they were hoping he could catch and turn upfield and pick up the first down.
Here's 2nd and 7 now from the 28.
Out of the shotgun, they'll run with Connor. A pickup of about 3 yards as he's taken down at the 31.
We know that old expression, it's not my night. It hasn't been his so far. I don't know if the legs are a little bit heavy. Sometimes having to hang out all day and play doesn't exactly play to your advantage, but it's been a tough go for him.
And every time he looks up, somebody's there defensively. That was the same case on that play.
Now Murray. The hook up on the right side to Hopkins. And now some space to operate. And he finally is out of bounds, but he's down inside the 20-yard line. A huge play there for Arizona. I don't think there's anyone who could possibly doubt how fast he could run on the open field. But if there were, he silenced those thoughts there.
And I'll tell you what a bird's eye view I've got here, because that was absolutely something else to watch. Not a lot of wiggle in that. That was catch it and go, and he used those wheels of his to absolute devastating effect.
On first down, it's Connor. They had the huge play last time. Here it is a much smaller gain of 2.
Defensively, we always know that he is tough in run support, and I think the way that he gets there is he understands what an offense is going to do before the ball's even snapped. A great job of scouting prior to the game, then reading, reacting, and taking the right path to the ball carrier.
The last run got a couple. Here's 2nd and 8. Murray now. Quick slant to Brown. And stopped a few yards shy of the goal line at the 3.
Boy, how about the speed with which this offense can get down the field? It's taken them no time at all to get down here. And now they're set up with a 1st and goal.
And Murray's going to keep this. And he goes backwards on this one, losing yardage to the 7. That's going to go as a loss of 4, and it'll be 2nd down.
No question, he's so dangerous down here near the goal line. The safeties, they have to be involved in run support against a quarterback like this, and in turn, they're going to ask their teammates to be involved as well.
Now from the 7, here's 2nd and goal. Out of the gun, here's Murray. Toward the end zone, but that's going to wind up incomplete.
Now we got 3rd and goal coming up, and couldn't you imagine being in that huddle, partner? You know they're looking at each other saying, we can't come away with just 3 points after this drive.
Yeah, they've covered a lot of ground. They want more than that 3. Big play coming here. It's 3rd and goal. Here's Murray. And that is caught by Brown for a Cardinal touchdown. Marquise Brown, his 2nd touchdown of the night. And the Cards take the opening kickoff of the 3rd quarter and drive right down the field to extend their lead.
In order to lead in a game, you're going to get plenty of contributors, but that's his 2nd touchdown catch of this game. He's one of the key guys in this one.
And you better believe he'll be looking for the hat trick here as this one continues to go. Extra point good by Prater, and the lead is up to 8. So that one an 8-play drive that spans 75 yards. And it winds up in a touchdown for Arizona. After the touchdown, out is Prater to kick. And Moore, he's going to sit on this one, and the drive will begin at the 25-yard line. So here's the Chiefs offense ready for their first reps in half number 2. And the last time that they were on the field, a little demoralizing. Missed field goal. You know, always feel like you want to get it in the end zone, but then, oh, well, at least we're going to get 3. Didn't go through the goalpost, though.
It does test the mental processes of a team, though, doesn't it? Because when you miss a field goal, it's amazing how fast they want to turn on the guy kicking the ball. But you need to keep his confidence up, because how many times have we seen games where it comes down to the stretch? And guess what? You need that guy to make the big kick for your team to move on or to win a game. Make sure you keep him happy. Make sure you keep him comfortable.
I'm sure you always treated the kicker nicely, though, right?
You know, truthfully, I did.
Good.
I always did, because those guys, they won us a whole lot of games.
Coming up on a 2nd and 6. Working from the gun, Mahomes. And that is incomplete. A lot of force bearing down on him there. He could not hang on. It's 3rd down.
My first thought is surprise, because that's one of the better tight ends around, and I've seen him pull in balls like this before. But how about a little credit to the defense forcing that incompletion?
So after the 2nd down incompletion, they'll come up now against a 3rd and 6. To throw, it's Mahomes. Caught, Kelsey, left side. And he will have a Chiefs first down as they're able to get the 3rd down conversion.
Well, a lot of times when you get a manageable 3rd down situation like this, you have to think about your tight end, and he comes through for him, picking up the 1st down.
They fake the give. Now Mahomes. And this throw a bit late as he couldn't reach back for it. He shook his head right when he released that throw. He knew it was going to be a little off target.
Yeah, the excitement got him on that one. Wasn't able to control the fact the receiver was open, and it would have been an easy throw.
After the incomplete pass, here now is 2nd and 10. Now here's Mahomes. Complete, the tight end Kelsey. And he's able to get this to the 40-yard line before he's out of bounds. And on that last catch, Charles, he tops the 150-yard mark. It's one thing when your wideout gets that. When your tight end gets it, it's quite another.
We keep seeing the evolution of that position, don't we? Where we've seen where it's gone from strictly as a blocker to a guy who caught a few passes to now an integral part of the passing game, sometimes the primary receiver, because a lot of these guys have wide receiver skills, and we're seeing that on display here. Just think about the guys of the past looking back at this game and saying, sure wish that was me. I'd love to have gone out for those types of passes.
Meanwhile, Mahomes' throw here complete to Kelsey. And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25.
For a tight end, he's got good straight line speed, and on that route, he's often the guy that gets overlooked. Nice job there finding him in stride for really good yardage.
First and 10, it's Edwards-Helaire with it. And a short gain here, down to the 22. Credit him with a 1-yard gain there to make it 2nd and 9.
Watching that play unfold and watching him complete it brought back memories of doing all those pursuit drills to make sure you don't over-pursue and let a guy get a cutback lane on you. He did that very well.
You praised him on tape yesterday for the angles that he takes to the ball. Took a great angle right there. On 2nd and 9, Mahomes. Flush to his right. And he will slide to a stop. He does have the first down.
Well, he did a nice job keeping his eyes downfield, waiting for someone to get open. But once the pressure forced his eyes down to see the rush, it was time to make a break for it.
Come on now, let's go. Let's do this.
From down at the 12, it's 1st and 10. Here's Mahomes to throw. And as he throws, he lost the football. It's loose. But it looks like the Chiefs are going to get it back. Fortunate to get that football back, because trailing here in the second half, last thing they needed was to lose the possession.
And the word I think of here is opportunity, because it could have been lost there, their chance to score points. But the opportunity for the defense was to go ahead and really close this game down if they were able to get possession.
So they keep the ball, but work to do on 2nd and long. Edwards-Helaire on the counter. Powers, and he will take it on in for a Chiefs touchdown. 17 yards for Clyde Edwards-Helaire. And the Chiefs are a 2-point conversion away from tying this thing up. So the first drive ended in 3. This time they take it down and punch it in the end zone.
So that first drive felt like they were just gathering knowledge, didn't it? Just enough to kick the field goal on the first one. And the second time they put it all together and got it all the way to the end zone.
Andy Reid never one to shy away from taking chances. He'll go for 2. Mahomes will throw for it. And it's intercepted at the goal line. Picked by Deontay Thompson. He's at the 50.
Hey, been there, done that.
Well, there's some excitement, right? Go for 2. And instead it gets picked off. And how about the return? Give them a lot of credit, though, for not giving up after the play.
Yeah, the troops rallied.
Exactly, and getting back there and making the tackle and not giving up 2 points themselves.
Now after the touchdown, here's Butker on to kick it away. And here comes a return from just beyond the goal line. And ultimately cannot get this out to the 25-yard line as he's dropped at the 23. The football going back over to Arizona now. After the long touchdown drive we just saw, you wonder if maybe that's taken a little of the wind out of this offensive sails because they had it going pretty good last time too.
Had to sit over there for a little while, didn't they? You know, they were eager, amped up to get back on the field after just scoring, hoping to get the ball back quickly. That didn't happen, so I'd say come out, just kind of get started again. You know, it doesn't have to be anything dramatic. Just get moving, get loose again, and see if they can get it downfield.
On 1st and 10, here's Murray. Hopkins on the grab over the middle. A gain of 6 there on 1st.
Well, it's time for them to be good teammates right here. And what I mean by that is possess the ball for a little while. Get at least 2 first downs. Give their defense a chance to settle down a little bit after they give up a touchdown.
They'll try the left side with Connor. And he'll be brought down shy of the 40 at the 38-yard line. 47 yards rushing for him now as he's run it 11 times.
Most of their damage has been done through the air. I mean, they've rung the bell 3 times with passing touchdowns, but guess what? Ground game has not been neglected. Nice little burst right there.
So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. Here's Murray as he sets to throw it. And he'll be corralled out across midfield down to the 45.
I'll tell you what, a lot of those mid-range throws have been available because sometimes teams get too concerned about the deep ball and they leave too much space in front of them, and these guys have been taking advantage so far.
So now 1st and 10 in Chiefs territory at the 45-yard line. Shotgun now from Murray. Being chased out left. And he slides and covers up at the end as he's going to be able to pick up decent yardage. The improv on the scramble there gets him 6, and it'll be 2nd down.
Now, that was not a bad scramble there on 1st down. He didn't force it, nor did he throw it away. He was able to take off, and now he made it a very manageable 2nd and short.
To throw again on 2nd down. Murray. And this throw incomplete. Well, the defender all over him that time, but it's going to lead to 3rd down. Not his best throw there, but where we sit right now in the third quarter, he's had a pretty good game throwing the football.
He certainly has, and it's not exactly at the point where we're doing 4-minute offense yet, but they've got to think about, I'm not going to say milking the clock, but understanding clock management here on out.
And he'll be brought down, losing yardage back at the 40. A loss of a yard, and it brings up 4th.
When a draw works, it can be a thing of beauty. But when it doesn't, oh, it can be ugly. And in this case, loss of yardage ugly.
Here is Matt Prater now. He's got the leg for this as he holds the NFL record with a 64-yarder back in 2013. They'll spot it at the 47, so call it a 57-yard attempt. So another long try for 3 and another kick that comes up lacking.
Yeah, this isn't going to do any wonders for his field goal percentage, but you have to figure as a head coach that when you send a guy out there to try and kick from that distance, it's a 50-50 proposition at best.
And Kansas City's offense now set and ready to go. And they're hoping to redo their efforts in the last drive when they got into the end zone.
And just think of what it's like now on the sideline, because when you score a touchdown, you have to go over and look at the tablet and see what you did on the last drive. When you scored points, it's a whole lot better view than when you're trying to figure out how to fix things there.
Well, now they'll start 3 yards shy of midfield after that long 57-yard miss. Throwing on first down is Mahomes. Forced out to his left. He's got the first down and more inside the 40. And this turns into a nice gain with a slide at the end.
Yeah, I like to see that.
Partner, it's often that man coverage is easier for a quarterback to run against. You get your receivers going downfield. Those guys are staying with them, and oftentimes they have their back to the quarterback, which opens up a lot of space and room, and they don't even know that he's taken off with it. What a big-time pickup on that play.
So into Cardinal territory now. It's 1st and 10 at the 27. Mahomes going to throw. This pass going to be caught by Hardman. Down he goes at the 23, a pickup of 4.
And when you're playing a quarterback with some experience and some moxie, you enter the danger zone when you decide to blitz him, because if he's able to diagnose as he did on that play, he can hurt you downfield.
He reads defenses so well, doesn't he?
He really does, and the best part about that play for him, I don't think that was his primary target.
I don't think so either.
I think he had the read, figured out where the blitz was coming from, and went to a secondary target for a really nice gain.
The 71 yards for him on the ground now. He has been a tough man to bring down all night.
Yeah, once more, strong running. Excellent blocking at the point of attack. They've got a nice little drive brewing right here.
Here's a 1st and 10 at the 14-yard line. Operating from the red zone now, Mahomes. And he's got Hardman in the end zone. Touchdown, Kansas City. Mecole Hardman there to make the grab. And the Chiefs are once again going to retake the lead. Oh, such great concentration there, going right up against the side of the end zone, but able to get the feet in bounds.
There are so many things that go into that catch, and you just mentioned the concentration, being able to catch the football, get your feet down in bounds, hang on to it all the way through the process of the catch. That was a phenomenal play.
Extra point by Butker is on target, and the lead is up to 5. Now after the touchdown, here's Butker on to kick it away. From a yard or two deep, here comes a return. And ultimately cannot get this out to the 25-yard line as he's dropped at the 23. Here's the Arizona offense now as they get set to take over. And last time out, another missed field goal, so maybe their confidence wavering a little bit right now in the kicking game.
And I'm with you on that. I think at this stage, they'd love to not run him back out there in a tough situation. But let's face it, they may have to. So right now, the head coach is talking to the offense coordinator and saying, call this game like we're going to put it in the end zone. Let's try and take the field goal out of it.
Murray and the Cardinals with a 1st and 10 at their own 23. Green brings it in. Not much there, only a yard. Boy, the evolution of the game and how these guys on plays like that can get out of the pocket, keep plays alive, it just makes things so much harder for defenses.
It really does, and we're talking about an era in the game where the quarterbacks are the most athletically gifted that we've seen in a bunch. I mean, when you talk about collectively, it's unbelievable. So their ability to move is practiced now. It's not necessarily, oh, he just took off and you guys figure it out. When he takes off, everyone knows where to go now. They know how to run routes, change things, make themselves presentable for the quarterback. It's a lot of time that they put in on it. It's not just your static 1, 2, 3. This is where the ball goes anymore.
Safety's creeping.
Ace.
They'll run on 1st down. Connor, and he's going to take this ahead for right around 3 yards, but no more than that. 2nd down.
Yeah, I don't know if it's exactly a win-win, but if you're on offense, you'll take that kind of a run, all right? It was kind of stacked up, found a little bit of yardage, and frankly, they're pretty close to staying on schedule on offense. The playbook is still open for the coordinator.
Connor going to get it again on 2nd down. And he'll take it across the 50 and into Chief territory. 56 yards on the ground for him so far.
And there's a run to be happy with. Good, solid yardage. He'll take that anytime you hand the ball to a back.
And they'll try and run the option to pick it up. And he won't be close to a 1st down as he runs into a wall right around the line of scrimmage. Call it no gain on the keeper, and it's going to bring up a 4th down. And that is going to do it for this 3rd quarter of action. You are watching the NFL on EA Sports. Welcome back to the desert. We're in Glendale. It's Cardinal football, but they trail here as we get set to bring you the 4th and final quarter. One score down. Here we go. They're going to go for it here on 4th down. Now Murray's got to have this one. Ertz over the middle. And he's going to have the 1st down at about the 38. 4th down trailing in the 4th quarter. They felt compelled to go for it, and they got it.
Well, I'd look down at my play sheet, and what I would find, plays have been successful throughout the game that have worked at the distance you need, and that's exactly what they got done.
So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. Murray giving to Connor on the option. And he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up.
This has been an up and down, back and forth type of a game, hasn't it? Maybe this long drive could take a little bit of the wind out of their sails, kind of settle things down a little bit.
The last run good for 2. Here's 2nd and 8. From the gun, Murray. Throwing over the middle, and it's incomplete. Marquise Brown was the intended target, and it's 3rd down. Great coverage there all around. Really didn't have many options to throw the football.
Very little chance that that one was going to be completed. Every receiver was locked up.
The Cardinals on 3rd down. 6 conversions and 9 tries. They've done a great job of picking these up. This is 3rd and 8. It's complete to Hopkins. And he'll be brought down with a 1st down as the tackle's made at the Chiefs' 16.
And here we are in the 4th quarter, partner, and watch them drive for what would be a go-ahead touchdown. And you and I both know this is where you need a quarterback who can keep his cool back there. Not just for himself, but to keep the rest of the team relaxed too.
So the ball down to the 16 here for 1st and 10. From the red zone, here's the Heisman Trophy winner, Murray. And that is incomplete here.
Really nice play by the guys on the defensive side of the ball, but for the guys on the offensive line, they're doing a nice job of trying to protect their passer. But when a guy hops in the air and goes airborne to try and knock one away, it's difficult because you can't reach out and grab him. That'll be a holding penalty. So all you're trying to do is make some type of a play on him, make some type of contact to try and get his arms out of the sky.
Meanwhile, Murray's throw taken in by Green here. And the Cardinals are going to be looking at 1st and goal as they move this down to the 4-yard line.
I love the drive they're working on here because they know they can take the lead with a touchdown. And so far on this drive, so good. They've moved the ball down the field with very little resistance defensively. But they better be prepared for some adjustments to come their way now.
Again, they'll throw with Murray. Step, and he is into the end zone. Touchdown, Arizona. Kyler Murray taking it in from 4 yards out. And the Cardinals have taken the lead here in the 4th. Plenty of scoring here of late, and our lead changes hands now in the 4th quarter.
Yeah, they just gave up a touchdown the other end, so they knew that with time getting short, they had to put something together here. And they were able to do so and retake the lead right back.
Here we go now as we get set for a big 2-point conversion. It appears they're going to throw for it with Murray. And he's got it. So the 2-point conversion is good, and they add on to their 4th quarter lead. So that effort gives them a 3-point cushion and guarantees that the field goal going forward won't beat them.
Yeah, that's really good strategy because that's all you care about. Not getting beat at this stage. At least give your team a fighting chance.
After the touchdown, out is Prater to kick. From a couple yards deep, he'll bring it out of the end zone. And the decision to come out of the end zone is going to cost him 5 yards as he's taken down right at the 20. Here's the Kansas City offense now as they get set to take over. And they will be looking to answer the touchdown their defense just surrendered. Still a good chunk of time remaining here in the 4th quarter and a chance to regain the lead in a tight one. Mahomes will lead the Chiefs up 1st and 10 at the 20. The drive will begin with a run by Edwards-Helaire. And he's stopped right at the 25 after a gain of 5.
Oh, that's one to warm the hearts of all those old-school football players, isn't it? Tough, hard, gritty run. Got behind his pads, bowled over a few people. Look at that one, right up the gut.
Saw it through 3 quarters. No reason to lighten up now. After the pickup of 5, here's 2nd and 5. Throwing now is Mahomes. And he'll look underneath here for Edwards-Helaire. And he's upended after a gain of 2 out to the 27.
Well, offensively, that's the mismatch that you want. You want to force a linebacker to try and cover your back out of the backfield, out in some open space. But linebackers nowadays, they run like backs, and they take a lot of pride in covering. What a nice play he made there in the open field.
That is caught by Smith-Schuster. And he will have a Chiefs first down as they're able to get the third down conversion. Tell you what, he's been able to put the ball in some tight spots all game long. That throw, no different.
Yeah, a lot of people would call it a gutsy type of a throw. I think he looks at it as, I can do it, so it's not that big of a deal to me, and I'm going to keep firing.
On 1st and 10, here's Mahomes. He'll find his running back, Edwards-Helaire. So the completion good for 6 yards, and that'll make this a second down.
Just about every quarterback is trained to really look downfield first before you come back and make a nice, safe throw. And in this case, that's exactly what he did. Found his running back, let him create some space, and it turned out to be a nice play for the offense.
Now it's Mahomes again. And he can't find anywhere to go with it, and he goes down. It'll be a loss of only a couple on the sack, but now it'll bring up third down. We've seen him escape similar situations earlier in the game and get away from pretty good yardage, and that time they get him down.
Yeah, they've had enough evidence that he can get away and run for good yardage, haven't they? That time it felt like, okay, enough of this. Let's play it the right way and get him on the ground before he does any damage.
The Chiefs on third down. They've had good success, 5 for 8 to this point. This is 3rd and 7. Shotgun snap to Mahomes. Oh, he's trying for Smith-Schuster, but it's intercepted. Buda Baker with a pick. And he's free going down the left side. It's a foot race. And they will score. It's a pick 6 for the Cardinals touchdown. Third down, passing down. They throw the extra defensive back in there for a nickel package, and it worked out.
And it's not anything that you would think is just great strategy. It's just that when you have 5 defensive backs on the field and an obvious passing down, it's a lot tougher to complete a pass. And on that play, they completed it just to the wrong team, and it cost them 6 points.
Now Prater to add the PAT. And his guys will take a 10-point lead. So the defense creating some points, not only getting the interception, but then returning it to the end zone for the pick 6. So they'll get another shot on offense following that pick 6, and now the kick is away. And no run back here for Moore. It's a touchback, and it'll come out to the 25. KC's offense ready to take over. And we'll see if they can band back together after the pick 6. It hurt badly, but still within striking distance. A 2-score game with a good chunk of time on the clock. Mahomes will lead the Chiefs up 1st and 10 at their own 25-yard line. Now Mahomes to try again after the pick 6. He'll find Smith-Schuster. That's complete. And he takes us beyond the 35 before going out of bounds.
Well, every drive from here out is definitely crucial and critical. They know that they need to get at least 3 here to get it back to a 1-score game. But I can't imagine that in their huddle that they're thinking at all about getting a field goal. They want to get into the end zone and then try and get the ball back again.
They go play action. Now Mahomes. Throw right side going to be caught by Hardman.
And he'll be taken down, but not before he gets into enemy territory.
All right, this is the time of the game where they're down a couple of scores, and they've really got to get some yards in chunks, and they know the defense doesn't want to give those up, but they've got to find a way to take them anyway.
Now the question is, can they string a few of those together? Back-to-back good plays have them on the move on first down. Mahomes taps this forward. It's a jet sweep. Able to avoid him at the 40.
There you go. There you go.
In need of only about the length of the football here on second down.
Now Mahomes.
Oh, he tries to force it in, and it's intercepted.
Buda Baker with a pick.
And the Cardinals are going to get the football here as he gets this up to the 38-yard line. And here in the fourth quarter, defensively, you know that you're just going to blanket the field with defensive backs and say, okay, take your best shot. And that time, it's intercepted.
And we've often seen teams go into the prevent early, way too early, and sometimes they get too soft in their coverages, but not in this case. They understood the situation and played it with the proper aggression.
DeAndre Hopkins and the rest of the Arizona offense about set to take over.
And I know that they've double-teamed him a couple times, but not a ton. Whatever they're doing isn't working. He's up over 100 yards. We'll see how they adjust.
And when they do that, they weaken their defense in other places as well. And how many times have we done games where we've seen a guy have a big game like this, but it's usually not by himself, is it?
Right.
Usually it opens it up for other people to have big games as well.
Murray's throw complete here to his receiver, Brown.
This will be stopped about 2 yards shy of the marker. 8-yard gain, 2nd and 2.
Another nice pickup through the air, and I think a lot of people might expect him to run the ball in this situation, Brandon, but with this lead, they're electing to throw the football. Swings, slants, quick outs, things that they consider safe.
Play action. Now it's Murray. This will be caught once again by Brown.
Well, that should be a reminder defensively, and I think it's a reminder to myself because you just can't sell out to stop the run. There's still enough time that this offense can move the football through the air, even on first and second downs, and they obviously picked the right spot to throw the ball there.
Big ass open. Big ass open. Hey.
On first down, it's Connor, and he can only manage to get a couple. 2nd and 8 coming up.
Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces, and I know it sounds crazy, but they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations where it'd be extra defenders in the box coming after them, trying to keep them from locking down a game. Right now, they want to show the world they're up to the challenge.
Flushed out right, and he'll slide to a halt here, still a little shy of the first down marker. He'll wind up with positive yardage. It's a gain of 3, but now it's 3rd down.
Now, how about that play? He took a possible negative and turned it into positive yardage and slid down to avoid taking a big shot. Excellent job getting down and avoiding the big hit.
The Cardinals on 3rd down. They've been really good, converting 7 of their 10 tries. This will be 3rd and 5. Murray going to throw. Eluding the pressure right. And he will slide to a stop. He does have the first down. That is an absolute backbreaker. That was a design passing play, wasn't a draw. You think you got him stopped, good coverage downfield, and he's able to pick up the first with his legs. Defensively, that kicks into your psyche and hurts a little bit, doesn't it?
It certainly does, and here's the thing. Anytime you give up a first down, it hurts you psychologically, but it hurts more when they get it this way because you've covered everything. He didn't have any place to throw the football. He takes off running and picks it up anyway, and now you have to stay on the field for an extra set of downs.
And really could have used that stop trailing here in the 4th. They'll run on first down. Connor, and he stopped immediately there. Chris Jones on the stop.
Run blitz there defensively, something we might see more of here in the fourth quarter.
I think we'll see a lot of it, and the difference between that and a pass blitz, you're just trying to get to the quarterback. You're trying to scheme someone open who will get to the QB and make sure he gets on the ground. In a run blitz, you're actually trying to cover up gaps, trying to cover up holes so they can't run the football.
Murray getting this complete to counter. This will be a gain of about 8 to the 27-yard line. Cool under pressure right there, escaping the pocket and finding what I think was not his primary target.
And some of these guys are just so comfortable getting outside of the pocket that they'll do it on purpose. It doesn't even need to be a breakdown. They move, and they know it affects the defense, because a lot of times you get lost in coverage in the secondary, and I think you're exactly right. Wasn't his primary target. Found a secondary guy who sprang open, probably because of his movement out of the pocket.
And he is going to have a Cardinals first down as they're able to get the third down conversion.
Well, that's a carry they have to be satisfied with, and throughout this game, they've been satisfied with what he's given them. Whenever they've needed a big run, a first down, he's the guy they've turned to, and it doesn't matter what the defense thinks. They feel like they've got the confidence to keep handing it to him and keep picking up good yardage.
From the 13 now, they work on 1st and 10. From the red zone now, they'll look to throw. Escaping the pressure right. And he'll take this one in for the Arizona touchdown. Kyler Murray with his second touchdown of the night. And the Cardinals now adding on to their lead.
Is it okay if I break one of our rules, partner, which is to never call a game over until it's over? Because this certainly feels like it's over after that drive.
Yeah, that was spirit-crushing, wasn't it? And now you just kind of felt the air go out of the balloon.
Yeah, they were fighting so hard to stay in there, and they knew they had to stop them on that drive. But when they were unable to, I think you're exactly right. You could see them sag on their sideline, and I think this one might just be over.
After the touchdown, out is Prater to kick. And Moore, he's going to sit on this one, and the drive will begin at the 25-yard line. Patrick Mahomes on his way out for their next drive. And that interception that ended their previous drive likely also ended any shot they had at victory.
Yeah, long road back from here, no doubt about that one. But let's face it, if you're going to go out there and compete, you want to try and end on a strong note, don't you?
Absolutely. It won't end in a victory like you said, but they can maybe take something positive out of this one. Mahomes will lead the Chiefs up 1st and 10 at their 25-yard line. Trying to shake off the interception from the last drive. He'll look to throw. And they're able to get this one across the 35.
Well, I can put my defensive cap on right now, and I know they're saying don't give up any big plays now. They've controlled this game throughout, and all they want to do is see it through to the end. I think they let their guard down a little bit with that last completion. Sometimes when you're trying not to give up bigger plays, you don't react as fast as you should on other throws.
So the Chiefs in possession of the ball as we welcome you back. They've got a 1st and 10 as they search for a late score. On 1st down, Mahomes. Now a desperation throw deep downfield. And it's a leaping effort, but it's knocked away and incomplete.
I like the fact that he took the shot deep downfield. Even if you don't get the catch, maybe you get a defensive penalty and pick up the yardage that way.
An incomplete pass on 1st down. That leads to a 2nd and 10. Now here's Mahomes. The Cards get to him here. He's brought down for a sack.
They'll wind up losing 10 on the sack, and it'll lead to a 3rd and long.
You better be ready.
The Chiefs now going to use the first of their timeouts as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. After the sack, things get a little tougher here. 3rd and long for Mahomes and the Chiefs. Working from the gun, Mahomes. He's going to let it fly. And it's incomplete. Took a shot, couldn't connect.
This defense was definitely alert to the possibility of the deep ball, and they were more than ready for it.
They've got the lead, 4th quarter. Maybe can expect more passes like that downfield. All right, they're going to try and keep hope alive here on 4th down. They're going for it. Now Mahomes got to have this one. To the sideline, and he's got it. They say the feet are down. Yes, the line judge says they're in. That'll be a 1st down. Clock management definitely critical here if they want to get back in this game.
Absolutely agreed. They have to up the tempo in this case. Down a couple of scores. Want to make sure they have a chance to win this ball game.
From midfield, here's Mahomes. He'll let this go for the end zone. And that is, I think he caught it. He did, but they'll say out of bounds. It'll be incomplete.
After what they faced during this game where they've given up a ton of yards downfield, there has to be a measure of revenge right there for the secondary. They've been shredded throughout the game and finally forced an incompletion.
And now it appears that the referee's been buzzed, and we'll get a review. And this being inside 2 minutes of play, everything coming from up above. They're taking a peek at whether or not those feet were in bounds, and obviously a big call here in the end zone.
And not just the feet. How about the hands? How is the ball possessed while the feet are hopefully getting down in bounds? That's what they're trying to look at to see if it all comes together.
So the officials and the folks in New York got a second look at this one, and the call is going to be overturned.
Butker on for the PAT. And the lead is trimmed down to 10. So 2 scores down, time definitely not an ally, but here comes the onside kick. And the Cardinals hands team able to secure the football. They knew they needed a miracle. They had to have that onside kick. They didn't get it.
Well, as we knew, even before they put the toe to the leather on that one, their chances of getting that done, slim and none. And I do believe we saw Slim just leave the door, didn't we?
We did indeed. I think we're down to none. Arizona getting ready to go as they take the field.
And a few kneel downs should come very close to finishing this one off, depending on whether or not we see any defensive timeouts. They still have 2, but using them would just be prolonging what's really already been decided. The drive will start with an option going left.
And he got blown up. Losing yardage on the play back at the 44. After the loss to start out, here's 2nd and 11. From the gun, a give to counter. And he's dropped right at the 40.
Gain of 3. The Chiefs quickly now going to use the last of their timeouts as they'll head to the sideline and talk over what to do next. The line to gain is the 33 on 3rd down. To throw is Murray. And that nearly the pick that they needed. He couldn't pull it in, though, and it's 4th down.
How about this defense? They came up with a couple of big plays in this sequence, and none better than the one right there, forcing the incompletion and bringing up 4th down.
So on 4th down, out trots the kicker in a big spot here. They'll spot it at the 47, so call it a 57-yard attempt. That's running out of steam, and it won't get there. He left it just short, no good, and this score will stay right where it is. And that miss should just about right a finish to this one.
Yeah, they needed 2 scores, and they needed that field goal there to be the first one and still give them an opportunity. But now, with the time left on the clock, I think this one's about finished.
Patrick Mahomes in the offense. Down by 10. A minute 8 to go. How will this thing pan out? We'll watch as they come up on 1st down. Mahomes. His throw incomplete.
And let's face it, this defense has had its share of struggles all game long, and they know that they can put it all behind them if they defend well here in the 2-minute drill. Excellent coverage right there to force the incompletion.
So after the incompletion on 1st, now 2nd and 10. Here's Mahomes. And he'll go back to Kelsey. This time it's caught. They get 7 out of that, so they're left with a 3rd and 3.
They gave up the completion there, but this is what zone defenses count on. Catching the ball and not much run after the catch.
They'll get to the line here, but remember, it's also 3rd down. Mahomes. To the right side, it's Kelsey. Well, this is going to depend on the spot, but it's not a very generous one. He looks to be about a yard or so short. 2 yards is all they'll get on the completion. It's 4th down. The Chiefs will try and get to the line quickly. Mahomes to throw it. Open man, Smith-Schuster, it's complete. And they'll have it in the red zone before he crosses over out of bounds. Well, they had held him pretty well in check, but if you recall back in the 1st quarter, you said they needed to avoid the big play. He finally gets loose.
And the thing about it, it doesn't have to be a bunch of big plays. Sometimes one big play can be enough. That's why it's tough to deal with a guy like that.
So from the 17 now, here's a 1st and 10. Mahomes. And he is into the end zone for the touchdown. So they still need a miracle with a clock where it's at, but they get one piece to the puzzle done.
Still have hope.
Coming from where they were, they knew this was going to be tough, but they got the touchdown. Now they need the miracle, the onside kick and a little extra.
Yeah, and you have to get the onside kick and not have the ball bounce around a lot and eat up time. You want to be able to grab it, possess it, and get your offense out there for what you just termed a miracle last chance.
Extra point by Butker is on target. And now things get a bit more interesting here in this 4th quarter. So looking at this situation, you should have time for the onside kick and then at least one play. And all the Chiefs have it. So they needed the onside kick. They got it. Now they need a field goal.
And that's the beauty of this. They don't have to get 6. A field goal ties the ball game for them. Nicely executed play.
The Chiefs offense about set to begin this drive. So you're right there, but obviously the clock is not your friend. How do you handle this situation?
You're thinking 2 plays. One, to get yourself in position for the second one, whether you're able to get into field goal range or you have to try another deep pass, another Hail Mary, but you're trying to get the first one to a receiver, get out of bounds, and give yourself a chance to set things up for an easier shot at it.
We'll see if they can do it. Might be easier said than done. Well, Charles, this one's going to be hard to digest. You take the lead into the fourth quarter, lose that lead. Maybe they felt like they let this one slip away a little bit.
They will definitely feel like that because when you have a lead in the fourth quarter, all you talk about doing is finishing and closing a game out. But when you flip it over, how about that? Making the comeback and then finishing the game, sealing it on defense, they will feel jubilant in their locker room.